Hey, my lovers and leaders, welcome to another time with me, Dr. Sarah, your IO psychologist. How are you? So, today's video, I just want to give a little down low, my reactions to this whole China manufacturers literally just exposing, okay, the misconception that a lot of us in the West have about luxury brands. One thing I want to say is one of the videos I saw, one of the Chinese manufacturers, right? Probably the one that's been going viral with this guy. He literally said, which I really held on to, he said, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he says that you all in America are spending so much money on these luxury brands, right? Just to feel rich, but you're not rich. And I got to thinking, listen, the kind of people I want to attract on this channel, all right, is people that use their brains, people that have certain value systems about their life, how they make decisions about their wealth and their richness, how they spend their time, understanding who they are. You do not want to buy a $30,000 Birkin bag, for example, just to feel rich. And you're not rich. You're not paying your tithes, you're complaining. You ain't doing no offerings, okay? You're not helping the poor in your neighborhood, okay? You're talking about you can't pay your bills on time. You're talking about you can't invest in stocks and bonds, etc. You're talking about you don't have money to start a business, but yet, like I heard in one of the TikToks, this lady, she wants to return back all her luxury bags because in the beginning of her lifestyle luxury brand, TikTok and YouTube, she would work 4 jobs just to afford some Hermes. I gotta say though, when it comes to the business side of those of you that watch this channel, these luxury brands are creme de la creme when it comes to consumer marketing. They know exactly what the common consumer wants to feel. They want status. They want people to judge them in a favorable way. They want people to believe they're so successful in life by having these luxury brands. They want a name for themselves. Hence, YouTube channels, TikTok channels, Instagrammers of it all, showing off all their luxury brands. But sidebar, they're not so luxury, are they? Okay, not so luxury. We've seen from the data on content that 80% of the manufacture of this product is done in China, and the rest is done in Italy or France, because we've been programmed that those places are luxury. How have we been programmed, by the way? There's some history to that. I came across a young lady on TikTok that talked about the silent racism, discrimination of how we see China products versus European products. Let me also add, which some content that was new to me, that the actual leather that China has comes from a place called Kano in Nigeria. And I come to see some other TikToks with actual tanners, I guess, of leather straight from Nigeria, Kano. This is this guy talking about his family businesses about, making the leather that gets, sent to China to produce these products. So this whole supply chain, all right, starts from Nigeria. The middle is China, the majority. But let me tell you, the raw material, all right, In terms of leather, so far I'm seeing on the YouTube streets and experts in leather that are in Nigeria, this leather comes from Kano, Nigeria. And I'm so happy that all these, you know, so-called not so luxury type places that most of us deem not, they're saying, listen, that Birkin you're carrying, all right, that leather, all right, doesn't all the way come from Europe or China. Because think about it, these luxury brands need mass production, and over time they're going to need to want, and they're going to want to cut corners, right, to increase their profits. And that's also over, there's been articles about that certain brands like a Chanel are not using the most expensive material anymore. Let's keep that a buck. They're not. So I'm happy that folks in, you know, tanners in Nigeria are speaking out. Hey, I'm part of the supply chain too, as well as China. Wow. I chuckle because I've been binge watching, like most of you out there, on these videos, that certain people, they can't pay their bills. They can't even like pay their student loans. They can't even feed their kids. Some of them are getting food stamps, but yet they want to have a Louis Vuitton bag. But you're still doing like the EBT cards. It's crazy, like the mindset of people. America, for example, is such a consuming nation. That's why I have to salute places like China. They are really skilled and they're hardworking. And they do things without complaint, right? Generally, from what I'm seeing in their culture. They don't mind doing those, you know, so-called low-level jobs. And they're smart too, because they're doing the jobs that many people in America don't want to do. And maybe many people in Europe that don't want to do, but they're getting paid. So I have to just appreciate that they're like, listen, because, you know, this all started with this whole tariff situation, right? They're like, come directly to us. Come and buy the bags directly to us. So my question to you guys, are you going to buy the bags directly from them? Are you? I'm not going to lie. Sidebar. When I saw certain YouTube TikTokings, right, TikTok videos, given a list of the manufacturers, I actually contemplated, should I go and start investigating manufacturers? Because I felt this like spirit of like, I want one. And I was like, oh, no. I gotta control my spirit because I don't want to get caught up in the cycle that many of you out there have been caught up in. See, I think independently. I don't need fashion labels to define me. Point blank, period. If you like that too, please let me know in the comment section. Please let me know. I watched a YouTube video of a woman just yesterday, and she used an interesting word. She said when she was watching those TikTok videos of different buyers, sellers, you know, in China saying, listen, look all these bags, you know, that we make. Basically contact us and we can give you you know, the discount and blah, 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 the manufacturer's discount. And she used the word lust. I thought that was interesting. She said, yeah, I just felt a lust towards it. And she just said, generally in this American society, we are just lustful for these name brands. So two things I want to talk about. The word lust. It is a spirit. Those of you who are Christians, we know lust is a demonic spirit. Do you think the way Hermes and all the other luxury brands, they don't know what they're doing? I watched another video where this guy did his research And he saw and observed how in these luxury brand stores, the architecture are like cathedrals almost, very silent. Products are individually laid out instead of crowded like the typical retailers, right? Where all the clothes are bagged together, are clumped together, all the watches are all together. These luxury brands, the guy was saying in the video, are positioned in the store like it's in a cathedral. So I said to myself, cathedral, church. The other woman said lust. I said, you know what? These bags, just these luxury brands themselves, they're like idols. Yeah, I said it. Idols. Idols. You lust after them because you think they're a source of high status. They're a source of feeling better about yourself. And I've heard YouTubers say this, since all this fiasco with the Chinese manufacturers came out. They wanted to feel better about themselves. Imagine a bag. But really, it's the brand. The brand has done such a remarkable job for you to desire their manufactured ideal self. So many of you, unbeknownst to yourself, because some of you are not using your brains and not thinking independently and easily manipulated, you are extracting your identity from these man-made brands that are charging you an arm and a leg, metaphorically speaking, for that item. Something that costs maybe about $50 to $100 to produce in totality. This is again in bulk orders when you're doing pricing. They're selling it to you for like 10K up because you need an identity. Ain't that something? Have you ever thought about that? These brands have been thieves. See, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Tries to steal your identity in exchange for Hermes' identity. Tries to kill your bank account in exchange for a Chanel identity. And now, by the plan of God, and I'm talking about the God that has the Son, Jesus Christ. I want to make it very clear because many people have their gods. And many of you that know people that their gods have been the Pradas. Have been those people. That's been their gods, their idols. Because they make me feel better. Okay? They garner people to watch me in the streets and conclude that I'm very sophisticated and very successful. That's been your God. And look how God in his infinite mercy, he said 2025, I'm going to do a bigger campaign and expose all these idols under the guise of the name brands. Apparently watching a lot of these fashion designer or fashion bloggers, they've been knowing about this. Been knowing. But the average consumer is so programmed to believe that, well, let's be fair, not everyone knows about supply chain, okay, or the business side of it. but you are very good. You're expert at consuming, just golfing. All right. This should be a lesson for everybody. All right. Do your research and reassess your priorities in life. Ask yourself, who am I? Ask yourself, when you buy and invest in a brand, what is this identity that this brand is providing for me? And can I get that identity elsewhere? I'm going to challenge you about that. Let me know if you're tracking what I'm saying in the comment section. When you're investing in these luxury brands, again, ask yourself, what am I exchanging for their identity? How much of my hard-earned money am I transacting with them for their identity? That luxury identity. I'm going to say it again. These brands have been a thief just to give you a sense of wholeness, a sense of relevance, a sense of importance. So I'm not even going to completely blame these name brands. I'm going to look to you all, the consumers, of how intelligent or not so intelligent you are. How easily manipulated you can be, or you're not easily manipulated. Now, I'm going to hold space and say, is there anything wrong with buying luxury brands? Sure, if you have a few 10,000s plus to spend on a bag, and you're also doing some other good things with your money. Sure, that's what you want to do. That's your value system. But let me tell you something. If I see you with a name brand, or you see me with a name brand, best believe, don't connect my identity to that bag. I just decided to do that. And plus, when I see you, I'm not making this any big assumption that you are someone that you're not. I'm not easily swayed by that. I focus on what's coming out from your mouth. I focus on your character, not what is hanging on your shoulders. Nope. There's people like me. There's people like me out there. Yeah. We focus on character, not on what's hanging on the bag. We may say, oh, that's cute, but and it stops there. It literally stops there. That's cute. Oh, that looks pretty. And it stops there. I do not connect any of that to your character, your well-being, or anything else you think you're trying to project onto me and the rest of the world. Anyway, I'm curious, just like many of you, how the fallout of this, how this is going to look like for the rest of this year, 2025 and beyond. I don't understand how these big luxury brands are going to continue doing their silly waitlisting of it all. Again, trying to create that exclusivity, right? That's one of their strategies. Put you on a wait list. Then you have to get with an exclusive sales rep, because you can't, when you go to a store, you can't actually buy the bag there. You have to go for this whole additional customer supply chain to actually get it. Just getting you in the door is just one big step, but actually buying it's a whole nother series of steps. Doesn't that sound just a little extra? But I gotta give it to them. They've been doing this for years. They've been getting away. I'm gonna say they've been getting away with this for years. But shout out to the people that caught onto this real quick, and you've gone to certain sites to buy the knockoffs. I have nothing against that. I was in New York a few years ago, and I remember I was in Times Square, and there was this guy, selling the knockoff bags. Did I go and purchase some? Yes, I did. Do I care? No, I don't. What are you going to do? I don't care. I'm smart enough to know that, level meets level. I'm not going to be spending $10K and above for a luxury brand, but my bank account is not even adding up to that, over time, to be taking that 10K for this. Can I do that? Absolutely. But again, I'm a businesswoman. Like, I'm not gonna. What is the return on the investment of getting those name brands anyway? Like the real ones. What's the return on the investment? Let me know in the comment section. What is the return? What is the dividends? I do know there's some people that do like to collect with the plan of reselling. Okay. All right. I hope that what you sell it for is going to be profitable, right? Because if you're going to resell it, there has to be some kind of profit margin, right? I like to try and have a balanced perspective, because I've seen it on videos years ago that people say that their luxury brands is an investment, right? Okay. I wonder what you would say now. I swear, if these brands don't change their strategy, all I'm gonna say is the audacity that they're still gonna be pushing these brands in all of you and I faces, as if we don't know that only about 20% of it is actually made in France or Italy. But the real work, the real craftsmanship started from Nigeria, then in China. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. I would be so curious what you are thinking. Those of you that have invested in luxury brands, those of you that invested in the knockoffs, those of you that just don't care. Okay, I just want to know your perspective. Even those who are business strategists, brand strategists, okay, sales strategists. What advice would you give to these luxury brands now with this unforeseen chaos that has occurred in their supply chain of it all? Okay? All right, let me know in the comment section. Until next time, let's use our brains, okay? Let's be very conscious shoppers, okay? And as some of you already know, I have a consulting firm, so please check out the link below if you want to have a one-on-one session in the area of business, workplace strategies, being an employee, being an employer, any type of wounds that you're dealing with, like childhood wounds or something completely different. Please check out my services, my packages in the link below. Sign up and let's move forward in life, okay? Being the best lover and leader that your community has ever seen. Until next time, blessings to you. Bye.